Alright. Bendy and the Ink Machine. Hello everyone! Welcome to this video. In this video, I'll be reacting to one of the videos from the YouTube channel The Game Theorists. I'm a huge fan of their work and I hope that you will like this video as well. This video is about Bendy and the Ink Machine, and I hope that you like it. Start!
That has gone crazy.
Voice of Jim, the intern. MacPad has gone crazy. He has us running the theory machine 24/7. He says he needs to appease the YouTube algorithms to save us, or whatever that means. The theory machine has never meant to sustain this kind of load. Things are bound to go wrong. I heard the machine said Han and Layla were Ray's parents. I'm sorry. I tell ya, if we have one more researcher turn into an ink monster for a science video, I'm out
He
here.
has us running the theory machine 24/7. He says he needs to appease the YouTube algorithm to save us all, whatever that means. The theory machine was never meant to sustain this kind of load. Things are bound to go wrong. I heard the machine say that Han and Leia were Ray's parents. I tell you, if we have one more researcher turned into an ink monster for a science video, I'm out of here.
Work hard.
Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory.
Hello. Hello Internet, welcome to Game Theory.
For today, it's getting a little sketchy. That's right, it's time to revisit the world of Bendy and the Ink Machine. Recently, Chapter 4, the penultimate episode of this 5-part series, came out, and whoo boy, what a difference a few months make. Out went the exhausting series of fetch quests from Chapter 3, and in came stealth, minigames, actual gameplay, a barbecue!
What the heck is this?
And not just one, but 2 boss battles. In fact, the game had
What is that?
a seeing double everywhere. Double Alice, that is. After proving herself to be a little devilish in Chapter 3,
Holy balls!
Chapter 4 ends with Alice Angel finally getting her comeuppance at the hands of Alice Angel.
What? Wow! Oh my gosh! You saw that? Wow, a plot twist there. What?
Excuse me. Oh, excuse me, what?
Great question, me from the past. That's exactly what I aim to answer today. Now, obviously,
Excuse me, what?
the reveal of a second Alice Angel accompanied by a Mecha Boris was a huge twist that no one saw coming. But it was also the clue that we needed to figure this whole thing out. Because for all the time that we online have spent theorizing about Bendy, we've also been ignoring the other title character here, the Ink Machine. Specifically, how that Ink Machine works. And between the twist ending of Chapter 4, some hidden files in the game, and most importantly of all, changes to the first 3 chapters now that they've been remastered, we'll finally be able to piece together what's really going on in this game and the surprise reveals that'll bring Chapter 5 to a close. Let's start at the end, the shocking reveal of Alice Croft and Mecha Boris. Watch everyone on YouTube play through this chapter and we're all shook by this moment.
What?
What?
Boris! I'm the real Alice Angel, hold on!
But in retro,
Oh my god, what? Okay, what? Hold on. Hold on. What?
retrospect, we shouldn't have been. 2 Alice Angels shouldn't have been so surprising. We've literally been walking through halls of dismembered Boris's, Bori for months now. I mean, the first big reveal way back in Chapter 1 is a dead Boris. A big moment of Chapter 3 is dedicated to escort missioning a Boris through a swamp of dead Bori. And yet all of a sudden we're like, whoa, there are two Alices? How is that possible? What this clearly confirms for us is that the ink machine is able to produce the same character multiple times. And as Alice mentions in Chapter 3, not only is the machine producing multiples of the same character, but it also does it at varying levels of quality.
Perfect formula, and I want it. I need it inside so I can be beautiful again.
So now let's take a closer look at our two Alices to see what we can learn. Chapter 3's Alice clearly has something wrong with her. Her face is half melted off, she talks with some kind of weird echoey voice, and oh yeah, the homicidal range. This Alice refers to herself as Susie, meaning that she, at one point, was Susie Campbell, Alice Angel's original voice actress.
Dreams come true, Susie. Dreams come true.
Spoiler alert, Susie, they don't. Unless, of course, your dream was getting run through the chest by a 𝐁 style scissor blade. No.
Ooh, get it? 𝐁 𝐬 style scissor blades. The anime reference. Yay. Not sure if the audience get it, but I do.
Let's look at our new Alice. If you look in the game files, Chapter 4's Angel is referred to as Allison Angel. This name is likely a reference to Allison Pendle, the voice actress who took over for Susie Campbell. This honestly goes a long way to confirm our last Bendy theory, that Joey Drew was using the ink machine to transform employees into the characters.
Now he wants to meet again tomorrow. Says he has an opportunity for me. I'll hear him out.
But not only that, the fact
Opportunity?
that the jealous, rage-fueled Susie became the twisted form of Alice seems to imply that good-hearted people have the potential to become perfect versions of the characters they most relate to, while those with impure souls become imperfect copies. It's almost like the ink machine is passing judgment on those who touch the ink. Susie's biggest fear was being unremarkable and forgotten, so the machine, like some sort of dripping, sepia-toned sorting hat, transformed her into something truly monstrous, a perversion of the very character that she loved. And that's not all that we learned from Susie. We also learned that a person can go through the machine multiple times and get different results.
For silence wards, inky wood was a wiggling, pussy, shapeless slug. The second time. Well, it made me an angel.
Wriggling, shapeless slug?
Wiggling shapeless slug? Oh my gosh, this is terrifying. Just purely terrifying.
It sounds like her first time through, she was selected to be a searcher, like the ink people and ink enemies that we encounter throughout the game. Because Susie initially became one of these ink creatures, it's likely that these kinds of creatures are the ink machine's standard output for its basic employees. Much rarer, however, is the machine turning employees into the biggest stars of the Joey Drew universe, Bendy, Boris, and Alice.
Could have pulled me back. Do you know what it's like? Living in the dark palace? It's a buzzing, screaming well of voices.
In short, the ink machine is all about a cycle of reincarnation, and it's using humans as ink. All these instances of "he will set us free" written on the walls are the searchers literally searching for an escape from this endless cycle of death and rebirth. And someone, or something, keeps putting them back through this cycle. Bendy. And that's exactly what we see the Ink Demon doing, gathering ink monsters like we see him do the Projectionist in Chapter 4 and sending them back into the ink supply to be spat out again. Why? Because everyone, as well as Bendy himself I would suspect, believes that a pure-hearted, perfect Bendy output will be the one who'll be able to end this cycle and finally set all of these trapped people free. This idea of kind-hearted employees transforming into perfect versions of characters is further supported by Mecha Boris. Like Allison Angel, Psy Boris isn't given a name in the main gameplay of the chapter, but if you dig around in the game files again, you'll find that this character is actually named Tom.
Tom. Psy Boris is Tom. Interesting.
A reference to Thomas Connor, the disgruntled ink machine maintenance employee.
Whoever thought that these crummy pipes could hold up under this kind of strain either knows something about pressure I don't, or he's some kind of idiot.
And if you're saying to yourself, who? Come on, you guys remember Tom, right? You know, Tom, the con man, the Tomster. But in all seriousness, you really had no reason to take notice of this guy. Before Chapter 4, Thomas Connor was one of those side characters who had no real purpose in the story.
Drew is like one of those side characters before then.
He had one out-of-nowhere audio log from Chapter 3 that didn't reveal any new information. This, in turn, led me to conclude in my last Bendy theory that Wally Franks was going to be revealed as Boris in Chapter 4 because
throughout the chapters, we've seen how every other major character from the audio logs has been transformed into an ink monster.
Major characters, he did mention that. So we didn't thought that Tom would be part of the roster for the main characters until now.
So unless a new monster is introduced in Chapter 4, which is pretty late in the game's story to be introducing new characters, that leaves us with only one option. Wally Franks is Boris.
Well, wouldn't you know it, but with the release of Chapter 4 came a bunch of updates to Chapters 1 through 3. The new remastered editions, which, if you're a theorist like me, reads instead as the retcon editions. It's moments like
It's like remastered, but for us it's like recon. Yeah.
this that are the most telling for me as I hunt for clues, because as creators go through the process of telling their story, they tend to have a better sense of where they're headed and how they actually want to tell that story as they get closer to the finish line.
Bendy being sense make no sense.
And so they go back and tweak a few things and add a few things to better telegraph where they're headed. And true to form, Thomas Connor suddenly became a much more prominent character, with an audio log and ink output schedule being added into Chapter 1 and a joint conversation with the janitor Wally Franks added into Chapter 3. Which begs the question of why? My last theory concluded that Wally Franks had to be Boris. He's one of the most prominent characters in the game, he has a connection with the ink machine as evidenced by the blueprints, and the Meatly has made it clear on Twitter that despite saying time and time again that he never actually made it. Wally never got out of Joey Drew Studios. We also know, based on the items you collect in Chapter 1 for the summoning ritual of the ink machine, that he's now the only character left at this point. Joey Drew has his book, Sammy is the record, Thomas Connor is now established with the wrench, Alice is the stuffed toy based on her chapter taking place in the toy workshop, our character Henry is the artist, so he's represented by the ink, which leaves the last item as the ink machine's gear. That's Wally Franks. He's an essential character to this story, appearing in every chapter, and yet the creator of the game decided to retcon Thomas into a bigger role so that he could become Boris, despite the fact that all the signs were pointing to Wally Franks becoming Boris. This tells me one thing, that the Meatly has other plans for Wally, and has had other plans for Wally the entire time. It tells me that Wally Franks is gonna be revealed to be the Bendy monster. I know, it seems like it should be Joey Drew. There is tons of evidence for that, but it's starting to feel like that's more and more of a misdirect by the Meatly. I mean, think about what we've learned about Joey Drew up to this point. He's selfish, he steals, and he's a liar.
When I agreed to start this whole thing with him, I thought there'd be a little more give and take. Instead, I give, and he takes.
He's not the type of person to test the ink machine on himself, which is why he gives people like Susie a special opportunity, using the ink to turn her into Alice as a test case. But our evidence isn't just a psychological analysis of the character. The limping, twisted-footed Bendy that I talked about in the last theory that I thought connected with this shot of a wheelchair from Chapter 1, it appears to be gone in the newest chapter, and in the remasters as confirmed by these animated models released by the game's official team. And if that wasn't enough, if nothing else, we know that Joey Drew sent that note from the beginning of the game. Unless he sent it right before he transformed himself, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that a Bendy monster looking like that would have the best penmanship. Now look at another change that happened in the remasters. It used to be that Bendy was summoned by pentagrams on the ground, but if you play through again, you'll notice that they're just random shapes in a circle. Pentagrams come with evil satanic connotations. This change tells me that Bendy is no longer meant to be purely a villain, but if he's Wally Franks, a man who was against his will thrown into the ink and transformed, this suddenly makes sense. We also know, based on that Twitter post I mentioned earlier, that Wally doesn't escape from Joey Drew Studios, so he has to be someone in the game, and we have yet to meet him with just one chapter left. There's only so many people he could possibly be. Now look at his audio log from Chapter 4.
These guys down at the warehouse get to play games all day while I'm stuck cleaning up after them. I tell ya, if these guys don't stop realizing who the real genius is, I'm out of here.
I'm out of here. Yeah, let's take a look.
This reveals to us that he's disgruntled and vengeful to his fellow employees, a trait which, we know from Susie as Twisted Alice, would turn him into an imperfect ink creature, like the imperfect ink demon Bendy. The clip also reinforces the idea that Wally cleans up the messes of everyone else. And what do we see Bendy do with the projectionist in Chapter 4? Cleans up his mess by dragging his body away. In fact, if I'm right in saying that Bendy is constantly throwing people back into the ink machine in the hopes of producing a perfect Bendy, well, that's what he's doing in the context of this entire plot. He's trying to clean up after the mess Joey Drew created. But regardless of whether evil Bendy is Joey Drew or Wally Franks, one thing I can promise you is that just like there's an evil Alice Angel and a good one, there is a perfect Bendy to balance out the ink demon. And dear viewers, I'm here to tell you that perfect Bendy is you. That's right. You, Henry the protagonist, are gonna be the prophesized Bendy that saves Joey Drew Studios and all its employees from their cycle of rebirth. Here's how I see the whole thing playing out. First, we know that Joey and Henry started this business together, and we know that Henry created one of the characters. Based on the fact that his desk has what appears to be an early version of Bendy with a no over top, it seems pretty clear that he created Bendy but got rejected by Joey. Eventually, Henry leaves the company. However, we know that Joey Drew steals characters. So he stole and tweaked the design of Bendy, leading to huge amounts of success and even its own theme park. Which begs the question then, what would lead Susie to say this?
Apparently times are tougher than I thought. For a moment there, I thought I'd be stuck with the check.
Why would Joey, despite all this success, be poor? Well, it's because of Henry. We know that Henry did something to the studio or to these characters based on this line in Chapter 3.
I know who you are, and I know why you're here.
I'm thinking Henry sued the company for stealing his character, or perhaps based on the poison ink that he's represented by in that opening ritual, is the one who created and sent the ink machine in the first place, all in the name of sabotaging the man who stole his character. It was his OC, Do Not Steal, but then someone did. Joey Drew stole his OC, and we online know that that's unforgivable. So Joey invited him back 30 years later to see the ruins of their business, forcing Henry to face what he did. Joey approaches Henry, forces him into the ink, and everything seems lost. But then, since the ink machine clearly judges people, Henry's pure love of these characters will be the thing that ultimately allows him to emerge as perfect Bendy, overcome Joey Drew, destroy the ink machine, and set everyone else free. The end. Well, at least until 5 chapters at Bendy's 2.
5 chapters at Bendy's 2. Taking reference from 5 Nights at Freddy's 2. Or 3, 4, so on and so forth. So anyways.
But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. If you want more Bendy action, then check out my friends over at the Leaderboard as they break down all the secret Easter eggs from Chapter 4. Like, did you realize that the connections between Bendyland and Disneyland actually go a lot deeper than you might think? If you head on over, do me a favor, let them know in the comments that Matt Pat sent ya. Or if you want to see how this theory got put together, click the box to the right to check out the live stream where we actually break down all the little changes and details from chapters 1 through 3, and describe a little bit of what it's like to be a theorist looking at all those retcons. Now, if you'll excuse me, next week, something long overdue.
Alright. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hope that you like this video as much as I did. I do recommend that you watch more of their videos from the YouTube channel, The Game Theorists. Their videos are interesting and just awesome. And yeah, if you do like my videos, please consider to like, share, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. And also, follow my channel. Thank you. And remember, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. I'll see you next time. But hey, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much. Wow. Yeah. Please subscribe. Thank you. Last check, I only have like 50 subscribers, so. Oh yeah, subscribe and ring the bell as well. Thank you. Appreciate it. And yeah. Thank you so much. Anyways, that's just a theory. A game theory. Thanks for watching. Actually, it's my channel, so. But hey, that's just my channel subscribers. But hey, that's just my subscribers. My channel subscribers. Thanks for watching.